Hello everyone, today we're going to be going into credits. What are they? How do they work? How can we control them? How can we save some credits? And how can we get an overview of how much we're spending? So credits are effectively a currency that works inside of the platform. Whether you're on a particular plan, you'll have access to 30, 40, 200,000 credits potentially, or whether you're on our pay-as-you-go option, you obviously have unlimited credits, and you can set a spend cap if you want to limit that amount of credit usage should you wish. Inside of the platform, you'll see that there's credit icons everywhere. So for example, when you run a social listening search, you'll get charged 1 credit per result that you get returned. You, of course, can control how many posts that get returned anytime the system is looking for posts. And the same thing applies inside of your workflow tools. Now, the key question is, how does this look? How does this operate? So let's dive in. So inside of the social listening searches, you'll see, along with all of the different socials that we monitor, at the moment, everything is 1 credit, but if we ever introduce a social listening platform that potentially would cost more, you would see this here anyway, where you would see the icon and you would see how much it would cost to obtain the social post. Inside of workflows, you also get a good overview on this as well. So if I just configure a test here, there we go. You'll see that all of the actions have varying degrees of credit spend. Now, a few things to mention here. If you wanted to use agents and not get charged any credits, you actually have the ability to add in your own API key, and therefore you wouldn't get charged when using the agent node, which is where you have the option to pre-pick the model here. So what you'll do is when you come through to here and you can see I can do my models, I can actually go and hit setup, which redirects me through to the settings, which you can also find down here. And it goes to the AI settings page where you can upload and pick the model that you want to add. So you can see here, I've added my Anthropic API key, and 4.5 is the model that I want to use with my own API key. Now, if I was to pick another model inside of the workflows, for example, if I was to use 4, it would use our own credit. So you just need to pick the one that you want to spend or that you want to control with your own API key there. And we also have access to Gemini there, Anthropic and OpenAI. And we will look at adding some more in the future as well. So that's the first way of saving some credits, because if I go back to the workflows and I click on a particular workflow here, and then I go and I use, for example, you'll see here, if I type in 4.5, you'll see that Anthropic is configured, and therefore I'm not going to use any credits that are associated with this agent. Now, the other thing that I can do here is I can actually go and add a HTTP node, and you'll see that there's no credit icons here. So using your own API keys when running a HTTP request will also not incur any costs. Where are we going in the future? Do we plan on adding other, integration providers, things like that? Of course, there's plans of adding other, external enrichment providers and things like that into here, which we would give you the ability to add your own API key in the future so that you won't get charged any credits. For now, you can obviously use the agents and HTTP, and then in future, we're going to be adding in more and more nodes with the ability for you to add your own API keys, which means you wouldn't get charged credits should you not wish for that to happen. But again, just to remind you on the way that you can also just control the credit spend is if we go to settings and manage plan, you actually have the ability, if you're on a pay-as-you-go option, you can actually config how much credits that you spend and where it cuts off as well. The other key thing is to look at this credit usage. So here we basically have the ability to actually let's give it a refresh there. Give it the ability to see all of the different credit spends that I'm doing here as well. So you can see, okay, hey, I spent 1 credit on the email enrichment here. I spent 1 on the person enrichment, 4 on the AI agent, 1 on the Slack message here, so on and so on. So you can start to break down exactly what is the credit spend that you're doing per action that you do within the platform as well, should you wish to get a little bit more of a granular view.